Right. Oh well, straight on it. So this was put in place so the utility room can still be used as a kitchen. I would have thought it was a ring because you've got the two cables coming out, but then there's a JB and then it is literally just slinged across. So if you haven't already, guys, hit the like button and subscribe. It's helping me grow the channel. The more likes, the more the video gets pushed, the more we can do this stuff. So thank you. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Nick, no Adam. Adam's first day of his holiday. And I did sit outside my house in the van waiting for him and completely forgot that he's having Monday off as well. So, Adam, fair play. You did me over. This job, if you watch the weekly videos, is coming back to the one where Electrician, who started it, first fixed it all, has done the board and everything. And long story short, he ended up taking his own life, which is horrendous and a horrible story. And I know from past experiences, been there with friends and whatnot, it's awful. And I don't normally take jobs on that people have already started and then put your name to it. This exception, this is no problem at all for me. I'll happily help out, get the family back to where they need to be, and hopefully finish off this guy's work. But yeah, very sad story, and I'm very sorry to hear it. But we don't normally do it, but today I have no issue at all. If there's anyone out there that says you shouldn't carry on someone else's work, I don't care. This is the kitchen. It's all been boarded out. Cables have been brought through, cooker, all that jazz. I've got drawings and everything. There is marks up for 4 downlights going in. So what we have is a pendant, 2 wall lights, 4 lights, and apparently this is the under cupboard lights here for the flyover. And what makes me laugh is this wall is dabbed off. That's a lot of dab. Well, not dab. I presume it's studded off, but we can have a look behind there. But what has caught my eye is whether or not this is meant to be livened up or not, I'm not sure. And I know we shouldn't trust these, but I'm going to trust. I'm going to just show you guys this. This has been sticking out the wall with no ends on for I don't know how long. I was looking at it going, well, this is definitely live. This is your loop in, your loop out. This is your switch cable. I thought that's fine. But then looking across at the wall lights, that one's taped up, which means to me if it's taped up, potentially live. Then we go across the ceiling lights, unless there's a JB that's not been done up, and then the wall lights, like I can't see any connectors where the loop in and loop out goes to the switch, which makes me think, just double check the switches, that someone's already connected them all up on first fix. So these have been hanging out the wall live for, I don't know how long, and there's kids here as well, which blows my mind. Whether or not this is accidental or on purpose, we don't know. But first of all, we're going to isolate. Double check. I'm going to do the sockets first. We'll clean a few of these out. The customer's supplied all the stuff. We've got lamp stuff. You know my thoughts on lamp, but it is what it is. Get some of the sockets on. We've got some of the lights on. And with these lights, we will have to join through the earths with a Ideal or a Wago or whatever we've got. And hopefully make some sort of sense of everything. And then fingers crossed, power up today. Get this all sorted. And then there's a lot more electrical work for me to carry on with at some other point with Adam throughout the rest of the house, where we've got cables going across doorways and stuff like that, where it's just been made to get on for the time being. So the house is usable for the customers. So let me set the camera down. I'm going to isolate the supply at the board. Well, I'll nip you down then, you can have a look. So this is future Nick after the job. I just want to say, after driving back and sort of reflect on the job of what's happened with the previous electrician, I normally make between 100 and 150 pounds of ad revenue from the videos alone. So I'm going to donate that now to Mind, which is the charity for mental health. I think it's the right thing to do. It's a good cause. It's very close to my heart, as most of you guys know. So I'll put a picture up now of the donation I've made so you guys can see. I'll put a link below to it. If you guys want to donate anything, obviously feel free. That'd be great. Thank you. And yeah, let's get on with the video. Right, kitchen. Fusibles down here. Oh my Christ, so long. So. Top tip, guys. So I'm not bothered about cobwebs or spiders, never have been, but you don't want them all in your face all the time. Just get a long screwdriver and just twizzle it. Sorry, spiders, but don't fancy a mouthful, thank you. Right, Yeah, and when you get it like that, you just squeeze it off the end. Boom. What's this? It's a 3-core. How are they in there? I can't see. Oh, it's rear entry. Sprue off the wall. Oh, for God's sake. In. Presume he's coiled up in the back still. I presume. First floor lights, top lights, boiler, ground floor sockets. Right, that is off on the death stick. I'm going to strip that back now, test it, make sure it's off, go and put a locking off kit on it. There's people in the house, I'm the only one working here. The last thing I want is when I'm working on it, it's someone accidentally goes downstairs and turns it back on. Highly unlikely, but it does happen. So I've had it before with an old lady years ago who decided to offer me a cup of tea. I said, no, the power's off for now because I'm just doing the kitchen sockets. And she went, oh, no problem. And the fuse bulb was by the front door, like low level. She went, oh, I want to make a cup of tea. So she went out and turned it on while I was bloody holding on to it. So not cool. Locking off kit. Should have happened. This was like when I was 18, guys. So this was 12 years ago. So don't shout at me. Learn my mistake. Use a locking off kit because these things happen. It could be the difference between you being alive and not. So just trying to identify. He has written on there what it is. That one's a switch. Thanks. But to be fair, it makes sense. So we've got a wall light, we've got spots, we've got under CU stuff, which is the cupboard lights over there. And then this one would be the switch, will just be for our center one there. So which makes sense because that's the one that wasn't live on there. So it's not connected. I'm going to strip these back, give them a go, clean the box out, you know the usual jazz, run a knife around what we told if you have to, and then there's a 4-gang switch in here somewhere. Little tip for you guys, so we've got a 4-gang switch, stripped all that off, happy with it all. Sometimes when you're putting these switches on, this is a lap one, see on the back, common jumps from up top to down below, up top to down below, and normally it would always go in your L1 if you just did one-way switch, so realistically that's off. That's on. But jumping around, it's different. I've had it with different manufacturers before where it's labelled up as L1 and L2. They're in the wrong spot. So when we've put one on, you've screwed it back, everything on you to turn it on, and it's actually the switch is upside down. Little top tip, we've all got continuity testers. Stick your red probe or your first probe in your common, second probe in your L1, and you want to be measuring at the back. So technically that's off. As I switch it on, my continuity tester does turn on, vice versa, and go around each one. So as you're doing the faceplate and you want to make sure that every switch is in the off position, if there's no 2 gangs, and that's an easy little way. And a little top tip. What I would always recommend is get the NAF jobs done first. These porcelain lights are a pain in the arse. Get them out of the way, get them done. They're on, that's on. Unfortunately, the back box in the wall, that's as square as I could physically, and I mean physically get it without twisting it. So that's unfortunately the way it is on the back box. Next thing is ceiling light, and then I'm going to move to the spotlights behind. But with this, you've just got a link in, loop out, and a switch cable. The light fitting customer's got, and another time where, it's just got connector blocks on and barely any room to ever fit anything in. So any of you guys new to the trade, be prepared for this to be a regular occurrence for any light fittings that look fancy. There's no room to ever terminate anything in it. They're a pain in the ass to put up. They're awkward. And yeah, just get it done first, and then the rest of the day, fingers crossed, you'll be plain sailing. Voila. Right, it's time for the downlights. So these are the lap ones. Not a huge fan, we all know that, but it's what it is. Whole saw dade. We've got markings here. The other thing we can do, now I mean this wholeheartedly, is cut and pray. So let's do one on live on camera for you guys, so you can enjoy this. Well, there's no joist there. It's not looking good, bro. It's not looking good. Let me get my phone, hang on. the water pipe. I think it's just there. To our left, it's about here. It would make sense. It's got tape on the end of it because technically it was live, well, without the switch connected, so there's one. Oh well, straight on it. But it's weird, you've got like a half joist going this way, and then this looks just normally like a roofing lath. So, best thing with this is get the plug out hole, screw that back up, and we'll shift it over to here, and then this can just be filled back in and smoothed over. So, but then I'm going to make sure I cut that one out the same measurement back this way, so this doesn't happen again. Okay, so I've powered up, I've left that one down so I can test at it. I'm not concerned about this one because I'm going to drop that down at the end of the day. I just want it up out of the way because I'm going to clatter my head on it constantly. That's on, the spots are on. Undercovered lights, goes down. It's a flyover here. I need to find this. I've just marked this out to do a fast fix box on here. Here's the other end of it as well. It's off at the switch, but there is connector block on that side, which I can see from the camera. I just want to double check the earthing arrangements on the end of this to make sure we've got an earth all the way through. So I'm going to do ZS here. That's coming out all right. I'm going to do an RCD test as well to make sure, because when I was cutting through these cables, I've gone down, the RCD hasn't tripped off. It was obviously the breaker that I locked off was the only one off. I want to double check the RCD is working on this as well. These technically are class 2 fittings. So is that one, and so are those one, technically from what's on the box, but I don't like the connectors on them whatsoever. So double check that, and once the lighting's done, we can move to the sockets, but like I say, get the hard stuff done first, and there's a bit of light. I've chucked a bit of filler on this one. So I'll screw the plug back up, and I've got some one coat filler as well, which the customers will decorate and just sand down, give it a lick of paint over, and it should just vanish, fingers crossed. Stage 1, lights done. I'm just going to screw that one back up in a second. The readings on a ZS on the far light, on the far downlight, was 1.78, which is not the lowest I've ever seen, but this is furthest away from the board, quite a distance. RCD 17.5 on the board downstairs. The next is clean out some of these boxes. Figure out, because the last thing I want to do is come through any of these, if there is one leg that's on, is figure out how they're fed. I'm probably going to take the front of the board off downstairs, so I'll show you that, and sort of jig around, go through the list of materials we've got behind us. We've got a cooker switch, we've got a cooker wedge, loads of sockets. I'm guessing that's for the extractor fan. That'll be a single socket. There is a flyover, so that'll be a single socket sat on top of the flyover, which will be all right. Obviously, normally we do a few spur if it's hidden behind. Fridge sockets, so some of this stuff is labelled up on here. Not sure. So we've got link in, link out. Does that go straight through? Right, so that will be an isolator for the fridge socket. Sweet, the guy's done a good job there. Double socket here. I'm guessing this is a double socket. No, it's a spur. Right, so this is a spur down to a dishwasher socket. So I would be inclined to do another socket here with a few spur. That'll isolate that if that's sat directly behind the dishwasher. Let's have a look at the plans. Yeah, so the sink's going to be here, dishwasher's there. I get my measurements out, but really that's going to be sat behind. So we can put a fuse switch spur here, which will isolate that. And double socket, a couple of double sockets over there. So I'm going to have a route around, have a look in the board cover, just making sure that this is all dead, because I don't want to be cutting through this if it's live. Worst case scenario, you don't know, turn the whole board off, then we're all right, isolate that off. Obviously I'm conscious that the customer is upstairs working from home on the computer, so got to be careful. This is what I'm on about with the cables. So this was put in place so the utility room can still be used as a kitchen. I would have thought it was a ring because you've got the two cables coming out, but then there's a JB, and then it is literally just slinged across. So we're going to try and do as much as we can to make that a bit safer. From what the customers told me, this old board is the one feeding the utility, which is the kitchen, which is those cables you can see going across, which would make sense because there's only one cable. So your tails, your earth in, and you got one cable coming out. But what I want to find is where the new cables go for the kitchen. You can see here, these are why the ground floor ones aren't working. They've been unwired from the MCB. The MCB for the kitchen is completely missing. So is the 6mm for the cooker. There's another 6mm, which I'm not quite sure what it is. I presume a shower. and then a 32 because there's a ring here that is for the kitchen as well. So I'm me moving them away from all the stuff that's live. But yeah, so we've got some stuff in going up. Rear entry. The old, this is what we used to do. If you never had grommet strip back in the day, you would literally like cut down a bit of two. I've never done it, but you can see loads of times people done it. Cut down a bit of 2.5 sleeving and put it in the back. But what we can do with that is make it a bit better at some point. Just chuck some fire sealant in and around the board. Obviously, if the fire starts here and it can escape out the back quite easily, straight onto a plyboard floor right above the lounge. And I will be ringing the DNO as well to see if they can get us a new top for that, and then even maybe change over the meter. There's a lot of moisture that comes down here because this is an old coal chute, to my knowledge, where you want the coal fill back in the day, and they just pour it into here, and then you just shovel it upstairs because it's 1800s house, so it's pretty old. So second fix, sockets we're done. 99%, really happy how level they are. We had one spur, which was the socket down by the sofa, which feeds up to the fireplace. All runs upwards. It doesn't come across the chimney breast and down. It comes up. Happy days. Guys done a cracking job at running the stuff. Obviously, it'd been easy if there was pictures that I could see behind the plasterboard, which we can't see. The only thing wasn't the best was the light switches that were lightened up, but it is what it is. I've seen much worse. It's just a shame that even there weren't a bit of tape over the end. Last but not least is the cooker switch, which I'm going to wire in, and it's got a lap outlet, which I've never seen before. But I'm not on this week's Electrician's Monday Club, which you might have seen. So we've got the legend, that is Mark, we've got Jamie, we've got Craig, this fat loser in the corner, Sam. And I never ever listen back to our episodes. Why would you? I only have to watch my own videos because I've got to edit them. My God, does Sam interrupt everyone? Someone could be half through a conversation. He's like, oh yeah, but Sam, if you're watching this, shush, let people finish their sentence and then jump in. But to be fair, most of the stuff that you come forward with is trash anyway. Just let everyone else talk. Anyway, we'll get the cooker switch on. I'll show you the method of how we're gonna, well, this one's quite easy to be fair. What all I've been doing is running the knife around, up and down, coming out. I'm gonna figure out what the other 6mm is for. That's the customer. We've got new bonding in. There's a 10mm to the gas in there. I need to find out what the water one is. And then this is the outlet that we've got for the cooker wedge. So the lap one, quite like it actually. You've got top entry here and bottom entry instead of the normal ones I use where the same pin is used for both in and out. Yeah, I thought it was for lap. I'm impressed. It's a nice little design. Right, we're in the consumer unit. That's the cooker. You can see how many cables are physically pulled out of breakers. We found the kitchen. We're doing the rings, making sure we have got a ring. Really should have done this earlier, but with every single one broken up, it made no sense. So to do them all, come down here, do that, and I can go and get an R1, R2 on the furthest point and get a ZS. Everything's looking fine. I found some breakers in the van, some Wilex ones. I've got three 32s, two of the same. One is an older one, which allowed me to get the cooker on and the ring. So I'm going to pull the neutrals out, pull the earths out, do all that jazz. I bought some blanks in. These are plastic ones because I've only got 4 metal ones just to fill the board up. So once the cover's on, I can get fingers, go walkie-walkie and touch the buzz bar, because that would be fun. And we're on, and we're done. We've got a good ring, we've got a good ring final checks, R1, R2, good ZE, same with the cooker. Customer's really happy with everything. It's taken 7 years to get this nearly the way it is, so it was a big smile on her face, which was nice to see. We've got more stuff to do at this place, a lot more stuff, as you can probably tell from looking at the state of the fuse board and in the dining room. I'm going to go around and quote now, have a look at a few extra things that need doing as best as possible. There's been no sockets in the lounge for months and months and months and months, and it's just an extension lead that's run from upstairs bedroom, outside, back in and down into the lounge for the TV. So if I've got the chance next week, because I've not booked any work in because Adam's away, I'm going to nip in there, I think, and just spend a couple of hours second fixing, testing, getting the ring back on and making it a bit safer. So if you like the video, like, subscribe, all that jazz. Get us to 100k. Can you imagine the giveaway I'm going to do for 100k? It is going to be mental. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care now. Bye bye then. Adam, are you going to say bye?